Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I'm definitely living up to my name tonight as I bring you guys a gun that's been out for quite a while. It's the Sig P320, but you probably already know that. This is the compact version of the gun, the compact Nitron version of the gun, and I want to thank Sig for sending this one out for testing and review. Now, the gun has been out, like I said, for quite a while now. I think it's been 2014 since the 320 came out. This was more or less an evolution of the Sig P320, as I recall, which came out in, I want to say, 2007? So it was 2014 when this one came out, 2007 when the 250 came out. 250 is more or less the double action only hammer fired version of this, and this one is the striker fired. What I've been told or what I've read is that the 250 is pretty much out of circulation. They're not out of circulation, but they're not building it anymore. They're not selling it anymore. They're not making it anymore. It's all P320 from this point going forward. At least, again, that's what I've heard. And I can't blame Sig for that because this is quite a bread and butter gun right here. As you guys know, it's been picked up by the military under the name M17 and M18. I think that's right. And that would be the full size and the compact version of the gun with the military's tweaks to it in order to make it the gun that they need it to be. Sig, of course, has offered more or less a clone of the M17 and 18 available to civilians now. So all those military specs on it, maybe a couple different tweaks to it to make it more civilian identifiable, but otherwise it's basically that gun. So you can get this in pretty much 100% that military configuration. That's cool. Some notes about the gun that you guys probably already know that are very notable is the fact that this is a completely modular system. The whole trigger group on the inside is the only serial part. In fact, you can see the serial through there. I don't mind showing it to you because it's not my gun, it's Sig's gun, and it's going back to them shortly. But that right there, as you can see through the frame, that is the only serial part, and that is the whole trigger group in there. So if you take the gun apart, you can pull that out, and you can pop that into a whole new frame with different slide and barrel and everything, and it's the same gun as far as the law is concerned because that's the only serial part, much like an AR-15 where the lower is the only serial part. I think that's a really cool innovation. One of the downsides to that I see is that you have to have more or less a pretty solid piece in there, which makes for kind of a thick gun overall. 1.3 inches is what I've read is the overall width of this gun. That's a little wide, okay? I mean, it's still very useful for what it's intended to be. In my opinion, this is a range gun, a home defense gun for civilians, and obviously a military gun. I don't see this as a concealed carry piece. A lot of folks will use it as that. Even this compact version, to me, is not for concealed carry. It's just still too fat, still too big. Still shoots great, though. And that's one of the things I really like about it. Shoots real easy. It's very easy to control. The grip angle on it is really nice. The little beaver tail back here, sort of truncated beaver tail, allows you to get a nice high grip on it without coming too high, obviously. I wanted to say that the bore axis was a little too high for me, but having shot it a good bit over the several months or a couple of months that I've had this gun, shot it with some friends, had my wife shoot it, shot it out here, shot it in different places at different times. I don't feel like that's actually an issue at all. I actually like the bore axis and the height on it as compared to where the web of my hand comes up to. It feels really nice. The trigger on this one is their upgraded lighter trigger. That's what that looks like. Just a tiny bit of travel on it. Okay. Try to get you a reset as well. Yeah, it's nice. So, do that with my right hand. Yeah. A lot of folks really like this trigger. As for me, I think it's okay. It's not my favorite. but I don't have any problems with it. Works really well. So guys, this is the part of the video where I would show you how to take down and reassemble the gun. However, with YouTube's new policies on firearms as they are, it might be a little dangerous for me to build this gun on camera for you. So what I'll do instead is go to the Sig Sauer P320 owner's manual and just show you a couple of pictures. I want to show you this picture to start, followed by that one. After that picture, here's another picture, and then this picture. We follow those pictures with this picture, that picture, this picture, maybe as an optional version of that picture, and then finally that picture and this picture, and maybe a few words if you want to read them. Don't know if any of that was helpful to you, but I will say, having taken this gun down and reassembled it off camera, it's quite easy to do. And should you decide to purchase one, you will not find that to be tricky at all. A couple other details about the gun. You see the slide serrations on the rear and on the front for cocking from here, racking from there. You've got all these 1913 Picatinny rails up there in the front. We can use lights like this one right here, the Olight PL Mini, slap that on there. I believe that the PL2 will fit on here as well, although that will protrude a little bit from the muzzle. This thing works great. That fits on there perfectly, man. That is just an excellent light. Stay tuned for my review on that. But this thing is, you know, a nice size. It feels good in the hand. Again, not a concealed carry piece to me, but functionally it's just an excellent, excellent gun. Shot a bunch of different types of ammunition through it. I put some of Freedom Munitions 124 grain for the most part, several hundred rounds of that through it. Put some of their Hush ammo, some of their American Steel ammo, some of their Pro Match ammo, as well as some of their frangible ammo. Now the frangible ammo at different times did hang up in this gun a little bit, which isn't a huge surprise. That stuff is 100 grain, so it's very, very light compared to other rounds. And it's just a kind of a different ammo. I've noticed that it doesn't perform perfectly in a number of different guns. So I may do kind of a detailed test with that ammo in the future. Tell me down below if you're interested in seeing that. As far as defensive ammo, to my recollection, it did perfectly with everything. Both the Sig jacketed hollow points, I put some gold dots through it, some Hornady critical duty through it. I think that's it as far as hollow point defensive ammo, but it did well with all of it. So as far as reliability, very, very good. As far as ergonomics, very, very good. I'm not sure why I shouldn't buy this gun from Sig. I kind of don't want to, but I kind of feel like I probably should at the same time. I guess we'll see what I end up doing. It's a solid gun. Now this version right here, the compact Nitron, it's called Nitron because of the Nitron finish on the slide, comes with two 15-round magazines as well as a pretty decent holster with kind of light retention to it, but it's going to be a really good just kind of range holster, training holster, not something that you want to use for concealed carry. I'd certainly get something custom made or look for something that's really designed for concealed carry. Their paddle holster that comes with the gun, good for range use, but not really concealed carry in my opinion. As far as everything else, comes with the standard paperwork, lock, and all that other stuff. I haven't tried swapping the mag release, but I do believe it's ambidextrous. You can see there that it's shaped the same on this side as it is on that side, so it stands to reason that that will pop out, reverse, and all of that. Again, haven't tried it, but it seems like it'll work. I feel like this compact one has really good ergonomics as is, but they've got even better versions of it with even nicer ergonomics than this guy. Let me show you one that I think is really cool. The X5. Look at that bad boy. I believe it's got a 5-inch barrel, and I won't go over all the other specs. Bit heavier, bit longer, bigger overall. Better sights? I don't know. Definitely better sights as far as competition is concerned. You can see that bright fiber optic there in the front and how that pops between this notch right here in the rear, which is adjustable, and I believe it also has this plate there in the back holding the rear sight in place. You can remove that, and that is ready for any kind of a pistol optic that you want to put on top of there. Also very cool. The X5 is just set up from the get-go to be a really great competition and range and training gun, in my opinion. You got the cutouts there on the top to lighten up the slide, and that long Picatinny rail on the front as well. We've also got a big flared mag well. What I understand is this well right here, this well flare, can be removed, so if you don't like it, you can take it off. The gun comes with 4 magazines from the factory. 4. You're never going to need to buy more unless you're one of those guys who's got to have 7. But this thing is pretty much set to go from the factory, and that's awesome. Extended beaver tail on this one to really help you index that on those quick draws. Does not come with a holster, but you wouldn't want their cheap holster anyway. You'd want something pretty nice if you're going to use this for competition, for training or whatever. The trigger on the X5 is also upgraded. I don't know all the details on it, but it feels really nice. I can tell you that. It's nice and flat, and it's got a good reset to it, and just a good feel overall. So straight out of the box, if you're looking for kind of the best sort of flagship P320, the X5 is definitely going to be it. If you're looking for something that will just kind of get the job done and give you a taste of the platform, in my opinion, all you need is this little compact right here. And it gives you the added benefit of being a small enough gun that you can stash it in a bag. You could potentially concealed carry it if that works for you. Keep it in a small safe in your home. Travel with it. Keep it in the glove box. I think this size is actually ideal for a lot of uses. So guys, like I already admitted to, I'm very late to the party in reviewing the Sig P320. I don't mind though. All the other reviewers out there have done 4 or 5 videos on this gun by now, and that's fine with me. Another thing I haven't mentioned yet is the trigger. Well, I mentioned it, but I didn't go into the detail of the drama around the trigger. As many of you guys saw in videos and in Sig's sort of apology letter or whatever you want to call it, there was an issue with the trigger, and they actually waited to send this gun to me until they had that sorted out. So kudos to them for that. They didn't send me one that potentially had a problem. This guy doesn't have any issues. Now, I haven't done the drop test. I'm not gonna do the drop test. It's not my gun. But what they did was they put the lighter trigger in here, which means that, or the lighter weight trigger, I should say, which means that it won't get the momentum that the other trigger had to potentially set it off when dropped in that perfect angle, right? So I'm glad to see that Sig sorted that whole mess out, and also that they put the upgraded trigger in this tester for me. Guys, that's basically my review. Thanks for sticking around for it. Thanks for watching it. As I said, I'm kind of late to the party, but I think this is a pretty dang good gun. For the price, yeah, I think it's worth it. The fact that it has been adopted by the military is going to make it a hot gun to own. And one of those kind of standards, you know, kind of like the Beretta 92 was, that everybody had to have that gun because it was the M9. Now everybody's got to have this because it's the M17-18. That's okay with me, and I think that's very well justified. But that aside, it's just a solid, good performing gun, and it's worth the money in my opinion. That's my review. Thanks for watching.